What's happening, guys? I'm gonna be doing a tutorial on this. Alright, so let's just get right down to it then. You're gonna need 3 different programs. You're gonna need a video editing program. Mine is Sony Vegas Pro, and then Boujou. I got Boujou 5. And then you're gonna need Cinema 4D. Mine is R14. Okay, so when you shoot your video, you're gonna have to do a couple things. Let's switch over to the camera real quick. Okay, we've got our camera here, and what you want to do is set it to where it's got the fastest frame rate. So mine is on 720 by 1280 at 60 frames. You can do it at 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames, but it's better if you just do it with whichever highest frames you have, and then just select that. And then alright, once you have that, all you gotta do is just make sure your shutter is at a really high value. Otherwise you'll have these really like ugly pictures in between. Then you just want to shoot your video, walk around, you know, whatever, and then let's just go back to the computer.
Okay, we're back at the computer now, and
Alright, so we got our video. All you gotta do now is just open up your video editor, and what we're gonna be doing is taking the video and rendering it as a bunch of pictures. So yeah. Alright, once it's open, this is Sony Vegas Pro 11, by the way. You're just going to want to take your video and just drag it into the timeline. This isn't the video we're going to be using, so don't get confused. I'm just using it because, well, it's here. I couldn't find the other video, so whatever you shot your video in, I shot mine in 60 frames. You just want to try to match that with the video editor. So I've already got that preset. It's 60 frames right now, or you can just click and change it. Make sure your full resolution rendering quality is at the highest. Click apply, and then just OK. And then just you can click this little button if you have one on yours, or just file and then render as. And then you're gonna want to try to find a some kind of image sequence or image something, pictures something, I don't know what other video editors say, but this little blue line right here is the rendering like area. So if I were to drag this like over here, it would only render that little section. But anyway, as soon as this loads, on other ones it might be on this kind of situation, like this kind of little drop down menu. Just go over to image sequence and click on TIFF or PNG, JPEG, whatever. I like doing TIFF because those seem to be higher quality than these. And then just hit render. We're not going to be using this video, so I'm just going to click cancel, and I've already got the pictures anyway of the video that we're going to be using. So we don't need this for right now. Just close it out. And then here's all the pictures right here. It's actually the first part of it. There was originally like 900 to 1,000 or a little bit more than that, but I just kept 100 so this tutorial wouldn't take too long. So once you got all your pictures, just drag them to somewhere like the desktop or something, and then you're going to want to open up Boujou, whichever Boujou version you have. Mine is 5. I don't know what the current version is right now. I'm sure there's a newer one, but Boujou 5 works for me, and it works pretty good. So all you're going to want to do is just click on Import Sequence, and then just navigate to where your pictures are. Mine's on the desktop, so I'm just going to click all these little dots to go forward, or I mean backward, I'm sorry. And then just click on whatever folder your pictures are in. Mine are in Pics, and then you just want to click on the very first one. You don't have to select them all, just the very first one. Click on Open, and then change your frame rate to whatever you shot it as. Mine was 60, so I'm going to change it to that. Click Apply, and then just click No for that. It'll go back to 25, so you got to change it again, back to 60. I guess that's the only thing wrong with this version, is that it goes back to whatever it had. Anyway, just click Apply, and then you're done. Just click Close, and then for this part, all you got to do is just click on Track Features, and then what I like to do is I like to crank this up a little bit. These are the little dots that it's going to be tracking. But for the tutorial, I'm just going to put it down to like right there. And you can click on Fast Tracking, which it doesn't take too long. The only problem is the faster you go, the less quality. But I'm just going to click it right now so the tutorial isn't too long. Click Start, and then like right here, it'll say how long it'll be, like what time it'll be done at. About 20 minutes. Alright, just let that do its thing, and then be back in a second. And then the next step after that's done, all you gotta do now is just well, wait for this. There we go. Now all you gotta do is just click on the camera solve, and that'll take all these little points and turn them into little blue and yellow circles. So once you click on that, click on Optimize Camera Path Smoothness, and then just click on Start. And then sometimes this may take longer than the tracking. This may take shorter. Right now it's taking a lot shorter. I'm not really sure why it does get shorter. Get it? Anyway, then all you gotta do now is just click on Scene Geometry, and this is the most important part of this whole process, because this is where you can mess up the worst. Alright, so click on Add Coordinate from Hint. This is the origin, so this is going to be the center. So I'm just going to click on this one, that little yellow dot right there. Click on Connect to Select, and then just click on Add again. Change this one to X. This will be your side to side. So holding Control, I'm just going to click on this one, Connect, and then add another one. This one's going to be the Y, or I'm sorry, the Z. We don't need Y. The only time you need Y is if you're filming something that's up and down. So I'm just going to hold Control again and take this one away, and then hold Control, and then we're just going to go to this one over here. That's the Z direction. Connect, and then just click on Update. I like to do it a couple times just to make sure. And then you're done with that part, so you can click on Close. And then from here you can click on Add Test Objects, and that little ladybug, if it's sitting like it's supposed to be sitting, then you have a perfect track. If it's not the end of the world. We can fix it later. So perfect track right here, so we can just click on X, and then we can click on Export Camera, and then you just want to save it to wherever. I'm just going to leave it there. Make sure it's on Cinema 4D, and then just click uncheck this little Use Format Default. Uncheck that, change this 1 to a 0, change this 1 to a 100, and then click on Save. The file will be sent to wherever that little thing was, and we don't need this right now, so we can close this out. Lose unsaved, doesn't really matter, and then just navigate to wherever that little file is. Okay, here it is, and then just drag it to wherever you want, or just keep it wherever you saved it to. for this, I like to name this, it doesn't really matter what you name it, obviously. I just don't want to keep it that default, because since that's the program's default for naming things, then I don't want to have too many of these later on. I'm just going to name it 1, 2, 3. Good enough. Whoops, don't get out of that. Okay, and then, as you can see, the file is here in Cinema 4D, that tiny little picture. We're going to click on that. It's going to open up Cinema 4D. And some people might have this problem like I do. Some people might not. It might work right off the bat. But mine doesn't. I don't know if it's the combination of Boujou 5 and Cinema 4D R14, if I need a new version, or I need to download a patch or something, but mine's got a problem. I'll show you here in just a second. I don't know why, but I like to put the little cursor right over the O in Maxim. Looks kind of cool. Alright, once you got your project all loaded up, just keep the scale like where it is, 1, that's fine, it doesn't really matter. And since I had 100 pictures, it changed it to 100 frames. That's supposed to happen. So now you're in Cinema 4D, you got your project all loaded up, you're all excited, let's add some 3D objects, oh yeah! And then when you play it, it's supposed to be moving with the geometry, but it doesn't. That's the problem I was talking about. So we just gotta close this out. No, we don't want to save it. And this is the most tedious process for me. I don't know if anybody else will have this problem, but what you want to do is right click it and then wake up the computer because it sleeps very often. Alright, so you want to open with Notepad, and you have all these little values. You just want to click on Edit and then go down to Find, or you can do Control F. Type in -3.141593 and then click Next, and then just X out of that, and then all these little zeros, copy all these little zeros, and then you're going to paste it over to this 3 point everything we just searched, and then you just want to go Edit, Replace. Then we're just going to type in parent item space a 1 and then 6 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a 1. All of this, copy, and then go down to this one, and then paste, and then take that 1 and make it a 2. Click on Replace All, X, and then you want to save it, obviously, or else this whole process would have been useless. Okay, so now it's done. Now you can open it, and then with Cinema 4D, and now it should be good. It should work properly. Just click OK, 100 frames. Now you've got all the points are, it looks normal now. Click on play. There you go. It works. So, okay, so here what we gotta do is double click down here to create a new little thing. Click on that. Texture, we want to load the image of the pictures. And this works the same way as Boujou. All you gotta do is just click on the very first one. So I'm just gonna go to the desktop. Navigate to my pics. Down here somewhere, here they are. And then just click on the very first one. I usually click no. Change the sampling to none, that way it's nice and clear. Click on this little image, go to animation, calculate, and then it'll go to 100 right here. Click on the X, and then what you want to do is click on this, it'll give you a little floor, and then click and hold, give you a background, and then for this floor go to Tags, Cinema 4D, Compositing, check on Compositing Background, uncheck Self-Shadowing, drag this little guy right here to the floor, and then change this to frontal instead of flat, and then change the same video to the background. Let's just add a little square just to, oh, that's a big square actually. Let's just change this to 2 centimeters. There we go. Drag this up a little bit. Let's add a light just to see what it looks like. Click on shadow. Let's go to soft. Change this to about 70. and then this little button right here will give you a quick render, and you can see what it looks like. There we go. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It's just a square floating in space. Okay, so that's not what we're gonna be doing. Well, it is, but it's not. We don't need this light because the light looks very unnatural. What you can do is click on the settings up here, go to Effect, and the best looking shadows, in my opinion, is Ambient Occlusion. Click on that. I like to drag this over just a little bit, just to have more of the gray, and click the accuracy. I usually put this to 100. I bring these down because it takes your rendering quality, makes it hella long. So I usually put that down to 20 and bring this one up to just 20, I guess. And then just X out of that, and then click. Well, actually, you know what? These little buttons right here. These are if you want to move, and then this one's in and out, and then this one's to look around. And if you do that and you render it, it's gonna look ridiculously weird. So the best way to do that is just click on this, which goes back to the first frame, and then it fixes itself. But like if you want to put that little square on the floor and you're like, oh man, I can't really tell, so you can just do this and just click on the cube, bring this down to, let's just go right there, I don't want to take too long, and then click on the little preview. And you can't really hold on, let's just make this 20 just so it's a little bit bigger. There we go. Bring this up to about right there, so then you can see the you know what, let's give that cube a texture as well. It kind of looks silly. Just click on new. Let's make the color, let's make it a nice blue. Reflection, let's go with about right there. Texture, let's add, or I'm sorry, yeah, texture for Nell. And specular, yeah, we can leave that on. You can transparency. This is good if you want to make glass. This is really cool if you want to make glass. I'm gonna just leave this off for right now, and then you can just drag this little texture on the cube, and then just hit render. And the cube looks kind of cool. I don't really know what that would be in real life, but see how it kind of gives you those realistic shadows. If you were to turn the ambient occlusion off, it would look so much worse. It literally looks like horribleness. Okay, so we're just gonna delete that for now. Delete this texture. You can go to File, Merge Objects, and then I have a bunch of pre-made little 3D objects. So the one in the video that we just seen is it's like a little house. You just want to you just wanted to click that Cinema 4D file, or you can click on OBJ. The only problem with OBJ is it's not already colored. You don't have all these little colors down here. You got to do it yourself, which I don't have a problem with that at all. But if it's already made, then, you know, why spend the extra time? But since you have all these things here, I just like to group them all. So just hold Shift, and then just group objects, and then you can name this whatever you want. I'm just gonna name it house. And then you're like, okay, where's it at? It's not here. Actually, it is, but it's humongous, man. We gotta turn it down a little bit. So just going to click on the house, go into coordinates, and then change this. It's at a 1 right now, so I'm just gonna make it 0.1, so that way it's much tinier. And then just drag this over to all those little points over there. And you know what? Let's drag it down a little bit more. And then it's still gonna be big, because 0.1 is still freaking huge, and it's not on the ground yet. Let's just go with that. Let's just put it right here, and then it's finally on the ground. The video is actually pointed. You know what? Hold on. Let's just make this 0.03, 0.03. Okay. So now you can kind of see it now. Drag this down to his the 4, and it looks black like that because sometimes it won't, like all these little errors, it won't work. So you just have to double click on the thing and it's going to be black, obviously. Go up to color, texture, load image. Since it's already written down here, we can just, oh wow, why is it on pics? No, we don't need that. Desktop. Desktop, and then go to, shoot, where'd it go? It's up here somewhere. Here it is. If you have a 3D model little thing, you just want to go to wherever it is, mill, text, that's texture. Since it's already written down here, we can just hit open because it'll search for that. I just click no. And the best thing to do for me, if you click on none, like the video, I don't really know what that is. Let's go to this. I think this is kind of the main house. Open, no. If you click on, as soon as it loads. Okay, if you click on none, it's gonna look weird because watch, or just click OK. Because the video, as you can see, like, it looks a little bit fuzzy. It's not that clear, but the 3D object is like super clear. So, what you want to do now is just click on sampling, go down to MIP, and what I like to do is just change the blur offset to, like, this is your little preview, just whatever looks good. I usually do 3 or 4, 5 being the most, 1 being not that much. So 3 I think looks okay, and then you can just click on the little sample button. Oh my god, never mind. Okay, 3 is way too many. I guess it just kind of depends on what 3D object you use, or whatever you import. Click on that, none, okay, whatever. And then, actually, you know what? Was that 1? Okay, 1 is too many, I guess. Let's just leave it at 0, I guess. There's some things where 5 looks good, and 3 is not enough. For this one, even 1 is too much, so it looks fine right now. I'm not going to change all the textures, that would just take way too long. But you get the idea, and then see how it just doesn't look like it's supposed to be there. Well, if we turn on ambient occlusion, since this is a bigger object, and it's got more detail, and it's got more of the gray, we want to probably turn this up to about 50, and then this one up to like around 30 or something. And then just click on the little button, and then you'll get these realistic looking shadows. The black areas are still not going to come in because you got to change them down here, but that's how I did the shadows in that little preview. And then there's going to be some parts where it's completely black and it's not supposed to be like that, kind of like this pole over here. There's supposed to be some kind of light. It's a little bit too dark, and then like over here it's not dark enough. Well, maybe it is, maybe it's not. You can change that. You can just add a little light and then just, like, you know, bring it over here, and then don't put a shadow on it. Keep the shadow off, because then it'll cast a shadow going this way and it's like, what the hell? So leave the shadow off. You can change the intensity. I would just turn it down a little bit, maybe to 70 or something. 70 is kind of like my favorite number on this, on Cinema 4D, because sometimes it's perfect. But if you go ahead and render this again, oh god, what the hell? Oh, it's because we don't have another light source. So if you want to hold this, go down to area light, and then let's just zoom out a little bit. We can bring this up a little bit. Click on this to rotate it. I usually like to rotate it about somewhere around there, and then just bring it up, and then somewhere around, not the very middle top, but just bring it over a little bit. And then this one, you can add a shadow if you want. I wouldn't turn the shadow up too high, just because the ambient occlusion does that, so probably 25 sounds good. And then just go back to the first frame, so it goes back to the first frame, obviously. And then you might want to turn this light up, intensity up a little bit more. This whole thing is like trial and error, so you just gotta play around with the settings and just whatever you think would look good in real life. It's yeah, it's a huge process, a huge trial and error process. So now, while the poles are still kind of dark, let's change that to intensity, about 150, I guess. And then let's go back to there. And you gotta be careful, because since you have the light intensities up, if you go back and change the ambient occlusion, and then you're like, okay, I like that, and then you go and render it, the lighting will be just a little bit different. So before you're done with everything, just go ahead and give a final render. That way everything looks good. Because I made that mistake of I made a plane in my driveway and didn't even realize that I had messed up on the lighting and just rendered the video, and I really didn't want to go through all this process again. You can save it, but I really didn't want to mess with it again. So as you can see, you can kind of see the poles. You know what, let's drag the little plus over to wherever you want to look at, and then just zoom in, and then you can rotate, and then just let's go ahead and give it another little preview. And you can finally see the poles. That's awesome. Yeah, they're just poles, right? Well, I'm just saying, you know, if it's anything you can't see, just click a little light, and then just drag it over to wherever you want. Okay, so once you have all your little settings the rate, like how you like it, click on settings again. Ambient occlusion should be done, so then just click on output. Click on lock ratio, unless if you don't, then you'll be doing this, and it's like, what the heck? Lock ratio. Actually, no, don't do that now, because it's already messed up. So what you want to do is change it to a format you already know. So 1920 by 1080, then lock the ratio, and then you can drag these down, and it'll keep it nice and square. Well, I guess rectangle, widescreen. If you want to do a quick render, just to see if your track is good, because sometimes it won't be. Here, I'll show you really quick. These little buttons over here, this one is your little quick preview. Like like the floor here. If you don't want to see the floor in your render, but you want to see it in your progress, you can click on this red, and I'll take it away. So whenever you click on this, it'll take the floor away. Actually, you know what? I think that's the background. There we go. Oh wait, that's the render view. I'm sorry, or the preview view, not the render. This is the render. So if you turn those off, you can still see it, but when you render it, they'll be gone. I had it the other way around. My bad. Anyway, so the floor's gone. It's actually better if you do it the other way. If you keep these on. Oh, come on, don't freeze on me. There we go. If you keep these off, it's really nice because you can just play it at real time. But if you have these on, it won't play at real time. It'll be like, oh my god, I'm lagging. So it's kind of nice having those off in the project view. And by the way, I should have covered this in the beginning before we added all this stuff. What you want to do is click on mode, go to project, and make sure your project, your frames per second is at 60. It should be already, but just, you know, you want to make sure. And you know what? We can let's delete this house, and let's turn the projects off and get rid of these lights. And you can do some pretty cool things with this. I guess this is kind of just an added part of the tutorial. If you go to simulate, go to particles, emitter, you can do some pretty cool things. And then click on hold the left click button over the square, and you can add a sphere, and you can change the sphere to that texture we made. I deleted it already, but let's just use this glass. Oh wait, hold on. We gotta change yeah. There we go. Now it knows what the glass is. Change this to none. Transparency. Do we want this on? It's not even on right now, but reflection. Let's turn reflection. Let's just keep it around right there. 66. So now you can drag this little sphere into the emitter, and on the emitter, click on the particle, go down to show objects, and you're like, oh no, it's gone. It's gone. Where'd it go? Well, it's not gone. Just click on play, and oh my god, the sphere is way too big. Let's just turn this down to about 10. Okay, that's still too big. Let's turn it to 1. There we go. And then click on play. You can see the little balls, and it looks fake because there's no gravity. So click on the sphere and then go to tags. Go to simulation tags, rigid body, and whenever you do this, if you click play, the little balls will go through the floor. You have to click on the floor, go to tags, simulation, and then this one I like to go to collider body. That way it's actually something, and now the little balls will actually hit something, and it'll just keep going. And it looks fake because they're going way too fast. Well, you can change this. Go to the project again, go to dynamics, time scale is at 100. Just change that to, let's go with 25 because that was pretty quick. Change that to 25, and now they're going a little bit slower. And if you change that down, if you go down a little bit more, let's try 15, they'll kind of look a little bit more real. Anyway, that's besides this tutorial. That's a different tutorial. The emitter is actually really cool because it allows you to do really cool things. One of the things I like to do is just, if you click on it and then go to particle, lifetime is 120 or 1200 frames. Lifetime means, like, if I were to change this to 30, that's when they disappear. Oh, you can't even see them. Hold on. Change that to... Let's change that to 10. So they'll disappear at 30 frames. But if you keep it at anything higher than your project, like this is 100, anything over 100, they'll stay forever. So I'm just going to leave this at 100. The speed is how fast they'll come out of this little emitter, obviously. Birth rate editor, that's however you want to see, like right now. But if you click on render video, it'll only spit out 10 or however many is in the renderer. So I usually like to just match that. And if you click on 100 or any high value, they'll just start flowing. But my computer can't handle that many objects, so I'm just gonna not mess with that right now. But but if you want to keep it, like, I've done some videos with about 1,000, and you can click on this show objects, and it'll show you how many will be spit out, but they're not the objects. It's just kind of a... Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. So let's just say you have all that finished. Settings, change this to whatever you want. I'll do 1080 or 1920 by 1080. Click on the frame range, go down to all frames. That's if you want to do video. Frame rate, I would keep it at 60 still. Save this under preferably your desktop, anything, just name this whatever you want. Save. Change right here, format. It says TIFF. You want to change that to AVI or QuickTime for the... I usually like to do in QuickTime because it's a smaller file. And then the anti-aliasing, I keep this at geometry because it really does not look any different if you keep it at best. 16 by 16, you are going to be sitting forever. So I just keep this at geometry. And then make sure the ambient occlusion is on, and then just X out. And this little button is your picture viewer. This is what's going to render. You click that, and it's going to start making your frames. So this is your little preview thing. You can drag this little bar to view however big you want. And yeah, it's making frames right now. So it's making the first frame. I've only got 2 gigs of RAM, so each little square is a gig of memory on your computer. So this project is 101 frames because 0 is counted as a frame. So 101 right now. It's making the first one. This is your time. So once this one's done, you can kind of calculate how long it'll take by the first frame. So let's just say this takes exactly 1 minute. It'll take 100 minutes, or however long your video is. So 1,000 frames, 1,000 minutes. So you might want to click on render and go take a shower, go eat lunch, mow the grass, whatever you want. So I'm not gonna keep this, so just X out. Once it's all finished, then you'll have that finished project. That was in the beginning of this video. And that's about it. So once you have the file, it's gonna be a humongous file. So this one's already finished. It's 5 megabytes. When Cinema 4D makes your file, it'll be huge. So the best thing to do is just open up your video editor program, throw in that video, and then render another video, so that way it compresses it to where it's something a little bit more manageable, and then you'll get something that looks awesome that your computer can actually play. So anyway, thanks for watching this tutorial. This took a lot longer than I expected, to be honest. I'm sorry if I went too fast. Just pause the video or rewind it a little bit. I just didn't want to make this tutorial extremely long. Anyway, I am gonna sign out, so I hope I helped anybody who had problems with this or was just curious. Here's the final thing, by the way. And yeah, so oh, by the way, in your video editor, whenever you're rendering the final video, this video is rendered in 24 frames a second, and that's usually what I render my videos, is 24 frames. But everything up until then, you want to keep it at the highest frame rate you possibly can. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day. Today's Friday, thank God. Weekend. Anyway, signing out once again. I will talk to you guys later.